Hey all, thanks for stopping by. Today I wanted to talk to you about change versus acceptance. And this topic has been on my mind because if you've been on my live Facebooks or if you're somebody who's been coming here a little bit more frequently, thank you, by the way, to both of those. I am somebody, and you know this, somebody who really believes in change. I really do believe that we can change. I know a lot of people don't think that. Some people really think that you can't, you know, that we're who we are and we can't change. But I've done so much changing in my life that it's hard for me to believe that that's not true for everybody. And the biggest thing I wanted to clear up, perhaps, has to do with this for myself and my philosophy, so you all understand where I'm coming from, and maybe too this will inspire you to understand more for yourself about change and acceptance. I do not think that we are changing ourselves because we don't accept ourselves. I believe that our goal about changing as seekers comes from our wanting to change what we understand and know is keeping us back from living fully developed lives, right? Change is a choice. It doesn't come from self-hate. It doesn't come from beating up on ourselves, not being able to accept who we are. It doesn't come from anything but love. Our desire to change, using myself as an example, when I used to be somebody who was very angry, I could get angry at the drop of a hat. If somebody did something to me, or even if they did nothing to me, but it just rubbed me the wrong way, I spewed. I was terrible with anger. It was my defense against being hurt. And it took me years to understand that I was very righteous in that defense. And I knew at some point that I had to change my behavior. I had to understand more about where my anger was coming from. It wasn't getting me what I wanted. It was turning people away from me. And it was also creating a lot of self-hate. Didn't want to feel that anymore. And so I decided to change my behavior around how I was angry. What I learned through change, that specific change, was that I actually loved myself more, because what I learned was that I could accept that it was a defense. I was using it as a defense. It offered compassion in my understanding for myself about how anger was easier for me than being vulnerable with how hurt I was. I couldn't express that to people. Instead, I went at them, hitting them over the head as a defense because I felt so hit over the head. That freed me up. It freed me up to make choices about anger. It didn't eradicate my feelings of anger. Remember, I do believe that anger is a feeling we all have. We're not going to smush it or keep it down. It does have to be expressed. But the choice I make now with anger is, how do I want to express it? Do I want to count to 10? Do I want to tell somebody I'm angry? Sometimes I have a right to do that. There are more than one occasion I'm angry at my husband. He deserves it. But I don't hit him over the head with it, right? That's something I used to do. I don't make him feel this big with my anger, but I let him know righteously, yeah, I'm angry, and that's okay. That's okay. I have learned to accept the anger within me, but I have the freedom to choose how I will express that anger. Choice is freedom. And our ability to change comes out of our freedom to choose what it is we want to change. Again, it doesn't come from not accepting who we are. I ultimately want to accept myself, and I can do that by loving myself more. And if there's something getting in the way of that love of myself, then certainly I might make a decision to change that aspect of myself so I can love myself more. Ultimately, the goal, of course, is to accept ourselves. But I think it is disingenuous to be righteous, to accept things about myself that are either, that I know deep inside are hurting others or are hurting myself. That's really just about me denying what is really going on. And denial, like I always say, it's good for some things, but it's not good for all things. Maybe someday I'll talk about denial, which is another fun topic. So I hope today you have a better sense about what acceptance is of self, the love of self, and also about how we can change what we know is getting in the way of that acceptance. And that's really what it's about. All right, well, I'm sending you love today, a beautiful day here in the Pacific Northwest, and I hope it's as beautiful where you are too. Thanks again for stopping by. And please leave your comments if you have any about this topic, maybe your own examples of how you've learned to change or how you've and how you've learned to accept certain parts of yourself and how you have learned to understand how maybe change for you is a choice and maybe some of those outcomes. We'd all love to hear from you. All right. Take care and thanks again.